There's a county tile, and then there's another private tile that runs in. The blocker is right in that, at the outlet of this private, in line with the district.
But the water that was going into the basement, was it backing up from, on this private line?
That could have been a combination of both, actually. From the water coming upstream down that tile, backing up through that line.
Well, I guess, so you're saying the blockage was sufficient that the 16-inch tile was blocked?
Yeah, completely blocked.
Which then would be bringing district water, and I would say it would be going back.
See, we went into his basement, and it seemed to be groundwater. It wasn't coming up through his drains. It was seeping through the corners of the foundation, cracks in the floor. There was a lot of standing surface water around his house. Now, he has gutters, he has downspouts, everything stretched quite a ways from his house. But in the low spots back in the corners of his yard, between his house and the abandoned house to the south, there's standing water. As we dug across south of the tennis courts, there continued to be water coming through, just groundwater, not necessarily back pressure building and coming out of the tile. But there was enough pressure on it to not accept any more water, I guess.
But I'm still not clear on one thing. Is his problem caused because of a private tile being blocked or because of a county tile being blocked?
My opinion would be a combination of the two.
All right.
Because of its proximity to the 16-inch?
To his house, yeah. If that 16 is blocked, it's going to start coming back out of the seams on the 16-inch county tile, saturating the ground with nowhere else to go.
Plus pressure in the tile back towards it.
And then the tile he has, I have no clue where that goes, if it runs in between the house or if it runs directly underneath his house.
The 16-inch tile parallels the storm sewer that comes through the middle. They run side by side.
That's further south. The tile we're on, the county main, is the storm sewer through town. They have all their storm drains tapped into the district main
See,
for that portion. So we're sort of in a combination of city storm and district tile through town.
those storms, I don't know, drive through early, that little bridge. Anytime you have a storm sewer dumping into a 16-inch tile, that's not the way you'd like to consider it.
The northwest corner of Litton's the same. And their stuff goes in there too.
I know.
So I mean, they must do it a number of places.
I guess what I'm saying is you got the possibility of stuff getting in the 16-inch tile because of storm sewer.
There was a pop bottle.
More, it's
There's
different
foam.
than Litton's kind of flat, Early's got quite a bit of slope and
With actual infrastructure to do that.
curving gutter.
What damage is he speaking to about concrete in the floor and walls?
From the way it looked when I was down there, it was just ground seepage. I mean, he had some wet carpet. There was no, I guess I'm no professional, but didn't seem to have any structural damage.
All right. Well, what I would advise, this, it may or may not be a drainage issue versus a county issue, so you may want to check with Earl as well, but I'll give you my 2 cents worth and we'll go from there. Number one, I don't recommend that we get into hiring a contractor to clean it. Because then we get into the issue of, well, it's not good enough, I want you to get another one. If we feel we have a responsibility, we say to them, get your own contractor, have them give us an estimate, and we'll get back to it. Service Master's up in Storm Lake, it's not that far away. I'm not trying to hustle Service Master, but just somebody to get. One concern you always have is mold and mildew. Was the basement a finished basement?
Semi, concrete with rugs, painted floor. Some
Walls
furniture,
repainted?
You know,
All right.
Colin, what's your, I mean, I'm sitting here not knowing which direction we ought to go, because on one hand, we're talking about a restricted county tile, which I believe probably pressurizes it, not only surface water, but if the tile goes in relationship, any relationship to the house, that's going to feed that. And then on the other hand, you have a chunk, the restriction coming from somewhere else. And so I really don't know what's
See,
the right.
the way it appeared to me was the floor of his basement is below flow line of where that tile is. So if you start backing that tile up, that water's gonna find a low spot. His basement drains would drain. So they must be off on a separate line somewhere. But the water he had in his basement, if it got to that drain, was gonna.
Well, the only reason I'm saying look into this from the standpoint of responsibilities, if, based upon what you've said to us, that it's a combination. There's a blockage at the junction of the county's tile with a private tile. And that blockage, we can't determine where it came from. We just know it's there. From your questions, it sounds like it's probably from the city of Early tying all their storm sewers into it too.
Well, I just brought that up.
Yeah.
You know, my uncle used to live west of that. And you get big rains, paper plates, you know, beer can, pop can, it goes down that hole. It's not a good situation.
No. I was no reason we may want to look at that, but that's for another day.
So, say that we do agree that or some entity has some responsibility. Is that a district responsibility or a county responsibility?
It's a district tile, correct? District.
We were asking the question about liability from the county insurance. That's why I was asking.
Sure. Normally, your insurance policies but cover the entity, the county, which is all encompassing, including you folks as trustee.
It'll be interesting
Yeah.
to see how it comes down, because that is true. Yeah.
But it, from what I'm hearing, it's a blockage in our tile that's causing to back up into his tile. But for our blockage, you wouldn't have a backup.
Yeah.
I guess the thing I wonder about is, since they're tapped in, the city of Early's tapped in with their storm sewers, how does that relate then to solely just a district?
That's one of those $64 questions, why and how, probably in the 50s, did the city do that, and we let them do it. The answer is they didn't ask and they didn't tell. I'm just speculating, I don't know.
Yeah.
Well,
we built a bridge going to the Catholic Church.
how do we?
I don't know if we do that again. I mean, a church.
Yeah.
How do we? With that said, we like in Lytton, and we do have storm sewer water getting in there. Are they included through the district then? Through the district, not as a municipality, but just as landowners through the district?
I would think so.